I'm Liz Faublis, and this is Currents. A farewell to a pastor at One Queens Parish who will soon be a bishop.
As a parish family, we work very closely together, and I will certainly miss the people here. They have been like a family to me.
And another church celebrates a big anniversary and the feast of its patron.
Our parish can proudly celebrate its 75th anniversary because of our rich and glorious past, because it has a bright and hopeful future.
Plus, get ready to hit the links in a benefit for Catholic youth sports.
It's been very successful. We've had good turnouts, and it's a good cause, so it's a great thing.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Well, it's less than a month away. On July 11th, Bishop DiMarcio will ordain Monsignors Paul Sanchez and Raymond Geppetto as auxiliary bishops for the Diocese of Brooklyn. And for Bishop-elect Geppetto, it's one of two big changes happening over the next month. He will also be leaving Our Lady of the Snows Church in Floral Park, where he has served as pastor since 1999. This past weekend, one of that church's apostolates bid him farewell.
We are at Our Lady of Snows Parish in Floral Park, Queens. We are having a second Saturday Malayalam Mass, which is our traditional Indian Mass. Tonight's celebration is very special because Bishop-elect Ray was elevated to Bishop, Auxiliary Bishop of Brooklyn by the Pope. Knowing that he came from our parish makes it even more fun, more exciting, something to be very proud.
I've been here for 13 years, and I'm moving on to a new parish at the end of this month. I'm being transferred to St. Kevin Parish in Flushing, and I'm also the vicar for clergy and consecrated life in the diocese, and now I'll have additional duties as an auxiliary bishop, helping Bishop DiMarcio in any way that I can to serve the people of the Diocese of Brooklyn.
He built a beautiful church for us at a time when many churches around the world are closing down and seeing decreasing in membership. Bishop-elect Ray has been the backbone of this Indian Latin Catholic apostolate, and he has always been there whenever we needed something. He just has asked us, and always he said, "How can I help you?"
I just have two questions. How do you smile for so long? And doesn't it hurt?
I think the most thing I love about him is his generosity and his kindness to others, and he almost knows everybody's name in the whole parish.
He's special because I've known him my whole life, and he's always nice to everyone and always polite.
I am so overwhelmed by this expression of love, but I'm filled with a sense of peace in the midst of all of the changes going on in my life, in the midst of all of the packing and moving and the preparing for the ordination, because I feel that this is what God is asking. I've been very, very impressed with their prayerfulness and their devotion to the Eucharist, their fidelity to this Mass. Well, like all the apostolates, they maintain their culture, their traditions, the way they would celebrate things if they were at home in India. So they are important Masses for them each month because they teach their children the culture, the traditions, and the importance of their ritual. I will certainly miss the people here. They have been like a family to me. I'll still be around the diocese, so I hope I can come back once in a while to visit them and share their masses and to enjoy their company once again.
To be honest with you, the first time I heard that he's actually leaving, I actually cried. You know, I got very emotional because he's so attached to us. You don't meet many people who, who get to know you and who know you by name, know you by face, know your family, and to have someone that close and to let go of them, it's very difficult.
And Bishop-elect Geppetto is not the only one getting a new assignment. Bishop-elect Paul Sanchez has been named pastor of Our Lady Queen of Martyrs in Forest Hills, Queens. He's been serving as the territorial vicar of Queens. Both men will be ordained bishops on July 11th at Our Lady of Angels Church in Bay Ridge, an event you can see live here on NET. Stay tuned. There's more currents ahead. The day's headlines coming up. Welcome back to Currents. I'm Liz Faublas. A group of religious leaders is taking its message directly to the Obama administration. The group sent a letter to Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius stating its opposition to what it says is two classes of religious organizations. The signers, which include Catholics and Protestants, say federal law treats churches as sufficiently religious but faith-based organizations as not worthy of that same status. The letter specifically cites the much debated, much talked about contraception mandate. The rule from the Obama administration would require most religious organizations to violate their beliefs by providing contraception, sterilization, and abortion-inducing drugs in their employee health plans. It includes a religious exemption that many say is too narrow, so narrow, in fact, that Los Angeles Archbishop Jose Gomez recently noted that much of what Jesus did would not qualify as a religious ministry. Among the signers of the letter to Sebelius, the president of Belmont Abbey College and the chairman of the board of directors of Christendom College. Both schools are respected Catholic institutions of higher learning. And it may be another contentious issue, but the Vatican's Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith says its meeting Tuesday with officials from the Leadership Conference of Women Religious was open and cordial. The meeting addressed results of an assessment of the Leadership Conference, which was released in April. The congregation raised concerns that the Leadership Conference sponsored presentations that were not in line with the church's teachings. The LCWR, which represents the heads of women religious orders across the U.S., called the assessment a flawed process that was based on unsubstantiated accusations. In a statement, the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith says the assessment was intended to assist the group in its proper mission. Meanwhile, the bishop who conducted the appraisal is defending the process. Writing in his diocesan newspaper, Toledo Bishop Leonard Blair says the evaluation was not an attack or criticism of religious sisters. Bishop Blair writes that the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith is concerned only with the Leadership Conference of Women Religious. The bishop also writes that it is a mistake to refer to the process as an investigation intended to uncover things that are not known. He says the assessment looked at materials that were readily available and was done in dialogue with those in charge of the Leadership Conference. A teacher at a Catholic school in Minnesota has been let go after she told administrators she disagrees with the church on the issue of same-sex marriage. According to Associated Press, the decision not to renew the teacher's contract came after she acknowledged she did not side with the church on some issues. The teacher said she did not bring her views into the classroom. School administrators have not commented directly on the matter. In a letter to families and staff, they explained the teacher was asked to resign because of an unfortunate circumstance related to the school's fiduciary responsibility as a Catholic school. The news comes as Minnesotans get set to vote in November on an amendment that would affirm marriage in the state as between a man and a woman. A new role for one official in the Philadelphia Archdiocese. Archbishop Charles Chaput has selected Auxiliary Bishop Timothy Sr. to be rector of the Archdiocese Seminary. Bishop Sr. has served as the moderator of the Curia, the employees who work in the administrative offices of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. Archbishop Chaput says Sr. has done an outstanding job under difficult circumstances. Early last year, Chaput's predecessor, Cardinal Justin Regali, placed 26 priests on leave following a grand jury report that found credible allegations of sexual abuse. The former Secretary of Clergy for the Archdiocese of Philadelphia is currently on trial, accused of giving new assignments to priests who were known to have abused. Well, it was a talk held for a group of student priests, but some say Pope Benedict may have indirectly addressed the so-called Vatican scandal during the presentation. Rome Reports has more.
The Pope gives speeches almost every day, but in this one, some Vatican insiders believe he was indirectly referring to the leak of confidential documents, also known as the Vatileaks scandal. It was during a speech he gave at the Vatican to students of the Pontifical Ecclesiastical Academy. The students are hoping to be future nuncios and employees of the Vatican Secretariat of State. The first virtue the Pope mentions is faithfulness.
La fedeltà di Dio è la chiave e la sorgente della nostra fedeltà. Oggi vorrei richiamare la vostra attenzione proprio su questa virtù, che bene esprime il legame tutto particolare che si stabilisce tra il Papa e i suoi diretti collaboratori, tanto nella curia romana come nelle rappresentanze pontificie.
In addition to loyalty, the Pope also talked about having a personal and trustworthy relationship with the Vicar of Christ. It's a bond of inner confidence that's developed over time, he said. And as a third point, he talked about the need to inform the Pope. Doing so will enable him to know and understand the flock entrusted to his care.
And the Pope also met on Monday with people from the Diocese of Rome. His address was part of an annual conference that looked at the sacrament of baptism. The Pope urged those in attendance to reject a culture where truth does not matter. He said that with baptism, we are uniquely united to God with a new life that belongs to God. From the United Kingdom, both the Catholic Church and the Church of England have issued formal objections to a proposal to legalize same-sex marriage. Catholic bishops say that the union of male and female forms a stable unit known as the family. In a separate statement, Church of England officials argued that same-sex couples have many of the legal benefits of marriage. They also raised concerns that churches would be forced to perform same-sex marriages. And it's home to just over 450 Catholics. But this past weekend, the country of Azerbaijan was paid a visit by Vatican officials. Cardinal Fernando Filoni, head of the Congregation for the Evangelization, that is, of Peoples, celebrated Mass on Sunday in the country's capital, Baku. According to the Vatican news agency Fides, Cardinal Filoni quoted Matthew's Gospel when he told those gathered that they are the church in the full meaning of the word. The Cardinal's trip was in remembrance of John Paul II's visit to Azerbaijan in 2002. Well, stay tuned. There's more currents ahead. Coming up, it will be a good day to golf for a great cause.
People know that their money is going to make a difference, and it's not being wasted. It's going to really make a difference and affect someone's life.
Welcome back. Well, if you love golf and have a charitable spirit, then on June 21st, the North Hills Country Club in Manhasset will definitely be the place to be. That's the site of the 3rd annual CYO Golf Classic, which will combine the best of both worlds to benefit the athletic and spiritual needs of the youth in Brooklyn and Queens. There will be special guests, lots of great food and games, even a casino night theme, something for everyone. Now, what makes this even more special, all proceeds will go to support the Catholic Youth Organization of Brooklyn and Queens. Now, CYO is intended to emphasize sports as a vehicle of evangelization. Bishop Nicholas DeMarcio, honorary chairman of the event, has said that sports can be a wonderful guide along the path to God. It teaches them sportsmanship, fair play, effort, and sacrifice. So we wanted to get a sneak peek at this year's festivities and find out which honored guests are on the roster. So earlier I spoke with Monsignor Jamie Gigantiello, Vicar for Development for the Diocese of Brooklyn and moderator of the event. He dished out the details as only the host of the net program Breaking Bread could do. Monsignor, so successful, you decided to do it a 3rd year. How did the Golf Classic start and how has it evolved?
Well, it started about 3 years ago when the bishop said that the CYO program needed a little funding, extra funding for the programs in the parishes in Brooklyn and Queens. So he asked me to come up with a fundraiser. So I said, you know, we'll do a golf outing. There's a lot of young people that are involved in golf, and everyone's involved in golf today, and they like golf. It's a fun day, and it's a great opportunity to raise a few, you know, a little money. So we put together the golf outing, and it's been very successful. We've had good turnouts, and it's a good cause. So it's a great thing.
Now this time, you have Billy Ard as
Yes.
the special guest. So
Right.
for our viewers and also for myself who may not be familiar with exactly who it is, tell us about the
Well,
Super Bowl champ.
Bill, I met Bill a couple of years ago at a fundraising event, and he was a former New York Giants player, and they went to the Super Bowl 21 in the late 80s. And I said to him that I would love to get you to one of our fundraising events. And he said, sure, call me. So I thought this would be a good opportunity because it involves sports players. And, last year we had Mike Piazza. He was our honoree last year and a guest of honor. And, a lot of people turned out for him. And he was great, signing autographs and bats and balls. And so, the Giants won this year. It was difficult to get Justin Tuck or anyone like that. but
he's just as good.
Just as good.
Absolutely.
So, the Giants, are, on everyone's minds these days. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to get someone like that. And he responded yes, and he's willing to help out. So he said yes, and that's how we got him.
And another honoree, Ed Curran. Tell
Yes.
us a little bit about him.
Ed Curran, Ed Curran works on Wall Street, and he's been very generous in supporting many of the different charities, especially different schools and the parish of Our Lady of Mount Carmel. That's where he grew up, and I met him there about 15 years ago when I was in the seminary working at Our Lady of Mount Carmel, the Great Feast. And we've been in contact, and he's helped me out with various fundraising events. So I asked him if he would accept being honored this year. And of course he said yes. And so he's very excited. He got a number of foursomes, a number of sponsorships. And, many people are coming out in his honor.
That's awesome. It's always good to know, and also to thank people that are very generous with their time and their money. And organizations like CYO really need that kind of funding. Tell us a little bit about it, the Catholic Youth Organization, who runs it, how it's funded.
Sure. Deacon Joseph Catanello is the director of CYO, and CYO has been around the diocese for many. When I was a kid, many of us remember the CYO day camp. We used to go out to Whitestone. But in every parish in those days had a CYO program, a sports program. And today, not every parish has a sports program. And over the years, the CYO program really has diminished. But over the last couple of years, especially under the direction of Deacon Joe, he's done a great job bringing it back to the parishes. And, sports is a great opportunity for young people, first of all, to get involved, stay connected with the church. It develops their physical skills, but it also helps them to develop, friendships, and also to realize what it means to be a part of a team. That, it's not a one-man show, that you have to work together with people, and it builds up that, good sportsmanship in young people. So it's a good program. Some of the fees, sometimes, people have to, the young people have to pay a certain fee, but it doesn't cover everything. And also you want to develop more programs and clinics and, different things that would enhance the programs in the parishes. So that's where the golf outing comes into assistance and helping them.
Monsignor, as director for the Office of Parish Giving, you're certainly aware of the needs of organizations like CYO and also the needs of the diocese in general, Brooklyn and Queens. What are the biggest and deepest challenges now? Not just for CYO.
Right.
Is CYO okay? First, I'd love to know that. But what are the other challenges we've been facing, and how are we going about, helping those challenges?
Well, I mean, it's tough today because, first of all, there are so many charities out there and people are looking, for help. But also the people that are able and willing to help are hurting because, the economy over the last 3 years hasn't been that great. There's a lot of instability, and people are holding back a little bit. So the challenge is to first to get your message out there, your need, and to get it to the people that can help. And that also the most important thing in any fundraising event or any charity is that people know that their money is going to make a difference. And it's not being wasted. It's going to really make a difference and affect someone's life. And, a program like, CYO and even Futures in Education that's dealing with young people, that really strikes at the heart of people. So it is a challenge, but when, you present the need and you present it in the right way and you do a good job in getting the funds to the children and helping them, people respond.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Monsignor Jamie, and lots of luck with next week's Classic.
Thanks so much.
To be there.
Oh, you're invited.
Thank you. Stay tuned. There's more Currents ahead. When we return, a Queens church celebrates 75 years.
We are celebrating not only the past of what has happened here and all the good, but the future of this new parish.
And finally tonight, over the weekend, one Queens parish celebrated two occasions. St. Anthony of Padua Church in South Ozone Park celebrated its 75th anniversary. The occasion also coincided with the feast of the church's patron saint. But this weekend, it was not a nostalgic look back. Instead, it was a celebration of the present and a look ahead to the future.
Our parish can proudly celebrate its 75th anniversary because of our rich and glorious past, and because it has a bright and hopeful future.
Tonight we celebrated Mass commemorating the 75th anniversary of the founding of St. Anthony of Padua Parish. And now, as a merged parish with St. Teresa of Avila, we are celebrating not only the past of what has happened here and all the good, but the future of this new parish.
St. Anthony's has always been an ethnically diverse community. Bishop Daly, our retired bishop, would often say that the world is in Brooklyn. Well, my brothers and sisters, we are proud because the world is on 135th Avenue and 128th Street.
It's a very diverse community. We still have those of those that had built the parish, which were this was built as an Italian parish. So some of the older generations are still here, as well as a large Hispanic community. And now people from the Caribbean come. So it's always been a place of immigrants.
It's interesting. St. Anthony himself was Portuguese by birth, lived in Italy. His devotion is universal.
He has become one of the more popular saints that we know of. You know, especially he is connected to his great preaching. He is associated with a man who is able to convert just with his words, but he's also very well known for lost causes. People always turn to St. Anthony when they lose certain things.
It is not just material things that are lost. St. Anthony really is the patron of lost things, and in many ways those things can be spiritual realities as well. Hope. People are in despair, or they've lost their way, or on the verge of even perhaps believing that they're losing their faith. St. Anthony can help them to find all those things.
We are at the dawn of a new era in the history of the parish. We are now the parish of St. Teresa of Avila, St. Anthony of Padua. With that comes many challenges. The greatest challenge is to be united in collaboration with zeal and passion and joy in fulfilling our essential vocation of spreading the gospel message of Christ to all people.
The challenge in our contemporary age is to evangelize all of the people who live in this neighborhood who don't share our faith. Because if you may have noticed, as we went around in our procession, many people came out, looking out their windows, came out of their doors. So the key for every parish for a healthy future is evangelizing now. And it seems that this parish is committed to do that. So I think it has a very bright future.
And congratulations to St. Anthony of Padua. And that is all for tonight. Coming up on Wednesday, another push to restore funding for much-needed childcare. Until then, be sure to visit us online at currentsny.net. For all of us here at Currents, I'm Liz Faublas, and we leave you tonight with more from the weekend celebration at Our Lady of the Snows Church in Floral Park as the Indian Latin Apostolate said farewell to Bishop-elect Raymond Geppetto. Thank you for watching and have a good night.